to start off with my usual, hey, good morning, how's everybody? But I'm a little annoyed. I need to know who did the program. Okay, everybody look at the cover of your program right now. Look at the title of today's talk.
We did.
It says, read it to me. The definition of insanity is me. It's not me. I'm telling you now, that messes up the entirety of what I want to talk about today. So let us set the record straight, first of all, that I am not the definition of insanity.
You just are.
I just want to put that out there. Let's start with. Good morning. How's everybody today? Just felt the need to, set the record straight, though. But now that the air is cleared on that, what is the definition? And you better not point at me. What is the definition, or what do we say the definition of insanity is? Amen. So doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, but expecting something to be different. Okay. Now let us pause for a moment and look within our own lives and find those moments of insanity. Where in our lives are we demonstrating some version of this, I'm actually doing that same thing with, and then just bring it to your mind. And the reason I'm saying this, and this is one of those things that's really difficult for us in New Thought, because we like to do dirt? What dirt? No. Dust? No dust. I'm God. All is well. But the only way we're going to transform the world, the only way we're going to bring the light of God to the world is by going within and identifying those places within our own lives that we don't like. Those places within our lives that we like to deny or ignore or brush aside or try to pray away without actually addressing what it is we are praying away. You know what I mean? Like if you're really going to confront whatever it is, then you have to identify it by name. Many of you have, and I know I do this often. How many of you are seeing me for the first time? Oh, okay, a handful. Okay, I can already say, we really gonna let go. Okay, so, but there's a couple of newbies. I don't want to scare you. So one of the things that I often say, I look at everything metaphysically. Now, as a child, I did not see The Exorcist from a metaphysical point of view. The movie scared me. Scared me. But years later, I was able to look back at it, watch it again from a metaphysical point of view. And one of the things that comes to my mind is the idea that in order for the priest to exorcise the demon, he has to get the demon to say its name. Name being the nature of the thing. And once the priest has the name or the nature of the thing, he can cast it out. Many of us do not want to name it. We have to be able to call it for what it is. Are there moments in our lives when we lie? Not necessarily lie to another, but lie to ourselves. Are there moments when we get caught in the roteness of the hamster wheel of life, where it is dulling us to the idea that we are perfect, we are whole, we are complete, we are divine, we are love made flesh, and therefore deserving of receiving love? Because a lot of us spend a lot of time running from love, because we don't feel like we deserve it. We run from anything that is giving us a sense of, but you're beautiful, you're amazing. No, I'm not, because if you really knew, none of that really matters. Yes, we feel it, and in the feeling of it, it matters, but ultimately, if God is all there is, And some of us still wrestle with that, and that's fine, because that's part of the whole journey through this thing called spirituality, is finding that place where I can acknowledge and be in alignment with knowing that God is all there is. So we'll table that for a moment. Let's just come with me for a moment, and for the sake of conversation, God is all there is. If God is all there is, then right here, right now, where is God not? Clearly, there is nowhere. We say there is not a spot where God is not. God is everywhere, at the depths of the ocean, because the ocean is God. It's not something separate. How could it be? There's God and the ocean. Well, that's two powers then, because the ocean has power. Well, then we believe in one power and one presence. Okay, so then that means when you look into the mirror, you are looking into the eyes of God. God is seeing itself through its eyes, which are your eyes. It is seeing its own expression of flesh and blood and face and hair or no hair, or however God is expressing as us. It is the divine. And yet, the hamster wheel of life dulls us to the idea that we are anything less than. You're a sinner. And even in New Thought, we don't talk about being sinners, but there's still somewhere. We are in the American culture. We were raised in some way, shape, or form with the idea of being not so good. Whatever word we identify that with. For some, you were raised in a home that was either agnostic or atheist, and you weren't raised with the idea of sin, but you were raised with the idea that you are a bad little boy or girl. And that those seeds sunk in. And because those seeds sunk in, a plant of bad boy, bad girl, bad teenager, bad adult, you're still bad now. It's still in there somewhere. Until we get to the point where we are ready to completely break free. Right? Now, break free. It's a rather challenging concept to know that in order to really be free, a part of us has to die. The part of us that believes that we are bad, we have to let that part die. We have to let that part fade back into the nothingness from whence it came. It's not anything of substance. Even if mom, dad, grandma, granddad, whomever, pastor, priest, whomever was able to say, but what you did last week was evil. Yeah, whatever. Whatever it is they are identifying. You stole, okay. You lied, okay. You put a number on your income tax form that really wasn't the most accurate number, but you did that so you could get the most claims of the things and so you could save the money. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care what it is. Whatever that is, it is not evidence of your inherent badness. It's not. There is nothing that can destroy or separate anything that you are as the divine. And if we believe in one power and one presence, God the good. And if that is all there is, then that power, that presence, and that goodness is right here where we are. From the top of our heads to the soles of our feet, from the surface of our skin to the deepest recesses of every atom and particle and wave of quantum matter. It is all there is. But are we willing to let the lies about us die? You know, one of the things about the Advent ritual is, so there was one period in time when Advent was thinking about or remembering the birth of Jesus, the birth of the Christ. And then later, many centuries later, it sort of tweaked for some, and Advent became more about the second coming. What if, let's sake of conversation, I'm not saying this is what it is, I'm just saying, sake of conversation, what if? What if the first birth of, metaphysically speaking, the first birth of Christ was the moment you first heard that word, and understood what the Christ was. Even if you understood it as that man, that's Jesus. Jesus is the Christ. That's his last name, Jesus Christ. Hello, Mr. Christ. If that was your first introduction to, then that was the birth of, because that's when the concept was born into your consciousness. But what if the second coming is the understanding that Christ consciousness is right here where I am? That there is not this possibility of it being some external, outward, the light of God is right here. The power of God is right here. The presence of God is right here. What if that's what it is? What if that's what we are thinking about and reflecting on, is identifying that that which Jesus demonstrated as the way shower is right here. I have done all these miracles, and so can you, and even greater. When do we challenge ourselves enough to really put feet beneath this? You know, I know there's at least one person in here that's going to understand what I'm getting ready to say, because the last time I was here, he gave me a Superman cup, and he had seen Superman, and he referenced this, so I'm going to reference it now. Anybody see Man of Steel, the recent movie Man of Steel with Henry Cavill? Okay. Homework, you need to go watch it. So today, I'm adorned with like Superman S in the ears, Superman S here, and I'm not going to kick over the fire. And the Superman S on the socks, right? I was warned. It's real fire, right? No kicking near it. So, the Superman S. For years, growing up watching and seeing Superman, the S had, it was power. It was bulletproof. It was faster than a speeding bullet and able to leap. That was Superman. And then this movie comes out. And they arrest him, and he's got handcuffs on like Superman does. But he's like, okay, I'm going to humor you humans. And he's sitting down with Lois Lane, and Lois says, so what's the S on your chest mean? And he says, it's not an S where I am from. Where I am from, this is the symbol for hope. The symbol for hope. That the S, which is the second most recognized symbol on the face of the planet, the cross being the first, the Superman S being the second, is a symbol of hope. Do we have hope? Really, really, really? Are we living and moving and having our beingness as people who, and I'm not talking about the wishy-washy, once again, fingers crossed, legs crossed, the yoga hope position. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about hope from because I made it into an acronym, because I make everything into an acronym. Hope, holding only positive expectations. Do we expect that which God is as goodness to demonstrate itself? When you go to a prayer chaplain and you ask them to pray, do you expect the prayer to demonstrate, manifest, and show up? Or are you wishing for it to? Are you hoping with fingers crossed that I really hope that if I ask Linda to pray, that I really hope that, but what if it doesn't? Or are we going in, all in the same way? There's this story where the guy, he wants to be enlightened or whatever, and he climbs the mountain, he gets way at the top of the mountain, and he finds the guru, and the guru is sitting there, and he's like, what do you want? And the guy's like, I want to be enlightened. And the guru says, come with me. And they walk all the way down the mountain. Like, when are you going to teach me? When are you going to teach me? Shh, follow me. And they walk to the beach. He's like, follow me. And they keep walking. They walk into the water. And he grabs him so he can't turn around. They keep on walking. They keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. The water's getting. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. And now they're underwater. And he feels the guy starting to struggle. And he's holding him. And he feels him starting to struggle. And he grabs him. And he's holding him under the water. And then he lets him go. And he jumps up. And what does he do as soon as he jumps up? When you want whatever it is you want, in the same way that you wanted that breath, then it has to show up. When we want, let there be peace on earth, when we want peace on earth with the same way that he wanted that breath, nothing will stop it. There was a time when women were not allowed to vote. People of color were not allowed, not just to vote, couldn't drink at that fountain, couldn't go in that door, weren't allowed by law. Were not allowed by law to have simple freedoms and liberties. And yet, what does it say? When a few people, that spark happens, nothing can stop an idea whose time has come. Nothing can stop peace on earth when we say enough is enough. When we have gone within enough. Because that's the thing about Advent. It's not about this external demonstration of stuff. It's about going within and identifying within where is the Christ. Within where is that light. Within where is compassion. Within where is the one who is rolling up his or her sleeves to do the work that God says, I am here as you to make this world beautiful and magnificent. The demonstration of all that it possibly could be. There is no one outside of us where we say, it's not my job, I'm not doing it. Peace is an inside job. Peace on earth is an inside job. If I am unwilling to reconcile and have peace within myself, with family, then I cannot expect there to be peace on earth. And the people in my family, many of them have abused me in one way, shape, or form. But if I am, and that does not mean that I'm going to go there and be, play hopscotch or whatever and be like all lovey-dovey. But it means I have to find a place within myself where I am at peace. Where there is nothing that they could do or say to me to ruffle my feathers, to the point of unbalancing me. To the point of remaining unbalanced. To the point of becoming ungodly for the sake of what they're calling forth. Why would I allow anyone to make me act in a way that's not compassionate, not caring? When I started studying Aikido many, many, many years ago, one of the things that my Aikido instructor taught us was that Aikido is one of the most loving ways to whoop somebody's, you fill in the blank. And I didn't understand what she meant by that. And she said something that reminded me of, anybody remember the old Kung Fu television series? So there's this passage in the Kung Fu television series where Master Khan is talking to Kwai Chang Caine. And he says, perceive the way of nature and no force of man can harm you. Do not meet a wave head on. Avoid it. You do not have to stop force. It is easier to redirect it. Learn more ways to preserve rather than destroy. Avoid rather than check. Check rather than hurt. Hurt rather than maim. And maim rather than kill. For all life is precious, nor can any be replaced. And I learned in that moment from studying Aikido that martial arts is not about beating people up. It's not even about, to a certain degree, defending myself. It's not even about that. It's about you are stepping in front of me with anger and hostility and rage or whatever it is, and I being the light, I being the demonstration of peace, I being whatever that is, have this opportunity to now guide you lovingly to the ground. I can do this with love, because the moment we are doing it in fear or in anger, not only are they being hurt, but I'm being hurt. Because I am allowing that rage or whatever to now infect me. But if I can remain calm and at peace even in the midst of the turbulence of being attacked or the storm or whatever it is, then what now happens? What energy now is going out in the world? Imagine what kind of peace we could bring to this world in 1 year if we were willing to give up all ideas of other. Just the idea of other. You know what they do in that country, or in that area, or it's them. They are the problem. Whatever that is. Even if it's within our own, well, you know, that side of the family is the problem. If it wasn't for them, all ideas of that. Even when we are looking upon ourselves, any ideas of something other, meaning something in you that is not God. Something in you that is not worthy of love. Something in you that is not worthy of being seen and appreciated. What would happen in our lives if we gave up this idea that there is something that does not deserve the balm of love, compassion, light, and joy? What if he just gave it up? Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Give that stuff doesn't belong to me. I no longer want it. Because from this point forward, I want to live, move, and have my beingness as someone who knows what love is, who knows what compassion can do, who knows the power of forgiveness, who knows what having mercy can do to another soul. That's who I'm choosing to be moving forward. What if, starting this Advent season, that's where we were coming from? That it wasn't just about lighting a candle and seeing the wreath and praying, that it's really about, let me embody the principle of this candle, hope. Whatever that means for me, hope. That means I am going to step into every situation and be the demonstration of that. So that when the news comes on and the news is talking about children who are hungry and dying because they're hungry, then I know that through the power of my consciousness, knowing that there is only one power and one presence, I am going to not buy into this idea that nothing can be done. We throw away more food than some people get to ever eat. So clearly, there is enough. So why is that enough not reaching? Because there is a separation between truth and what we are choosing to believe. We need to bridge this gap. We bridge this gap by knowing that hope is powerful. Knowing that we are the ones we've been waiting for. Knowing that we are the ones who have been called. You didn't have to come here today. You chose to. Well, I'm sure some of you did. I'm sure some husbands were like, I really don't, come on. I'm sure there were a few. But generally, you chose to be here. Why? Because you wanted something. You wanted to give and get something, to involve yourselves in the law of circulation. The law of hug and be hugged. The law of hello and be helloed. The law of being in fellowship. Circulation. Because you know that coming here recharges your batteries. It reminds you, now check this out, because technically your divine battery can never be depleted. So the emotional battery of being human is the battery that is being replenished. But the moment we can identify which this can never run out. So now let me drink from my saucer because my cup runneth over. Let me acknowledge that there is a part of me that has more than I could ever in this human frame be aware of. And let's walk that. Let's know and understand that Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of these sacred holidays and moments of reflection are giving us the opportunity to wipe away the scales from our eyes, to no longer see the glass as dim, but now we see it clearly that I am that I am. Look in the mirror. I am that I am. I am whole, I am perfect, and I am complete. And so it is